Let me start up the screen share here. All right, guys, what is up? So, this is going to be kind of the first rendition of Free Coaching Friday, and it's going to be a pretty structured, pretty informative session. It's specifically going to apply to Scan Initiator towards the end. At the start here, what we're going to talk about is going to apply to every single role. Some of the stuff that we're going to go over today is pretty advanced, and I need you guys to bear in mind it's all about your application of this knowledge, okay? So as you intake this information, I want you to think about your ability to apply it, not the fact that you know it, okay? So I really want you guys to not only learn this today, but I actually need you to take steps in the implementation, all right? That's realistically what's going to make the difference between you being successful and ranking up from this or not getting anything from it. So take action, do something with it, you'll be looking good. So let's take a look at where I want to start. So let me give you guys a situation. 6 months ago, let's say Prime Neon, Prime Phoenix, Prime Waylay, maybe it's a little bit longer than that. Scan Initiator and Ranked did not feel good at all. Okay, you play Sova on Haven in that lobby. Okay, so let's say you started Sova on Haven here, and you're against a Neon, Prime Neon. It literally felt like there's nothing you could do as a defender against the Neon. Or if there was something, it was very niche. It felt like he had so much counterplay, and realistically, there wasn't that much that you could do. Okay? And that was the issue. Nowadays, Neon's a bit more nerfed. We're seeing more traditional duelist. And what that means is Sova actually has some counterplay. So Scan Initiator is pretty good to play right now in ranked because the duelists just aren't quite as overpowered. They still are pretty overpowered. But what does that mean for us? That means that we can optimize our scan gameplay and actually get a lot of results. We can start to carry games because at the end of the day, on Scan Initiator, the goal of today should be to teach you guys how you can actually impact the outcome of your games. A lot of you guys play Scan Initiator, and your games are mostly decided by how good your duelists play, how good your team's vibes are, and things like that. Right? If I teach you guys how to play Jet, it's very straightforward on how you guys can carry the game. You can op, you can outlaw, you can enter, you can just kill their whole team. Okay? We all know how you can impact the game on Jet. But how does a Sova, how does someone like this still impact the game and have a great win condition? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In today's session, there are 5 total pillars to becoming somebody who's like top 10 radiant on Sova, level of Sova, by the way. Like, we're talking about to become the absolute best on the planet in a rank setting at Sova. There are 5 like foundational concepts that I tend to teach people. This is not something that I've spoken to my private clients about before. It's just something that I taught them naturally. But now I'm framing it for you guys and I'm teaching you that today. I'm going to teach you 2 of them, which might not sound like a lot. You might think, oh, it's only 2 out of 5. It's the 2 most important ones. Okay? We don't have time for the rest, and I don't want to give out literally every single thing that I know, obviously. So, the first thing that we are going to go over is how we can impact your games on any role with weapon-based win conditions. And if you guys don't understand what a weapon-based win condition is, then what I need you guys to look at is think of Jet with an op, okay? Jet with an op is a weapon-based win condition. He can deviate his gameplay into, instead of playing normal, he's holding an op angle, right? He's opping, maybe he's peeking at timings, and you can learn all sorts of stuff about how you can abuse the op, right? There's a large skill gap to the op. So that is a weapon-based win condition. But how can Sova have weapon-based win conditions? A lot of people think Odin, okay? That's actually not the most important one. It's nice to have the Odin, absolutely not the most important one. Does anybody know what I'm going to say is the most important weapon-based win condition on Sova specifically to win in ranked? Nobody said it yet. Nobody said it. McKevin said it. There he goes. It's the Sheriff, okay? Now, why on planet Earth would I value the Sheriff more than the Odin on Sova? That's a crazy statement. If Brock was in here, he'd start tweaking. Actually, he likes the Sheriff. But why would I recommend you guys the Sheriff before I recommend the Odin. Yeah, it's because it's pistol rounds, bro. You know what? Pistol rounds control the entire game in ranked. I need you guys to understand something about a ranked game. All right. I don't want you guys to think of all rounds equal in ranked. This opening, when we start the round, yes, there are 12 rounds in each half, okay? But the first 3 rounds, the first 3 in each half is what we need to focus on. We need ideas and strategies and winning conditions on these 3 rounds. And we need to go from, maybe like a 50% win rate on some of these rounds on average. And we need to enhance that to 60% or 65% or even, God forbid, 75%, right? And that is how we can dominate our games. I want you guys to really take this to heart right now. I'm giving you this advice. I need you guys to all remember it. Pistol rounds win you games. Bonus rounds win you games. Ranked is momentum based, and it is not hard to consistently win. So you need to put your time and effort into being extremely impactful on these rounds. Every decision I'm going to turn this heater off real quick. You have it on. But every decision that you make on these rounds is going to have a disproportionate outcome on the game. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand the significance at these early rounds? Okay, so the question is, how can we have a winning condition on these early rounds? Well, let's take a look at it. All right, the first gun on pistol round that we're going to talk about as a weapon-based win condition is going to be the classic. The second is going to be the Sheriff. Now, what can I do with a classic to have a win condition? Well, let's say we're in freeze time before the round starts on a scent with the classic. How am I going to approach my B-site defense? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start here. I'm going to ask my killjoy if I have one. Hey, turret B main. I'm going to back up lane after. 3, 2, 1, round starts. I hear him. I shoot the shock dart. I back up. I hear him. I do this. Then now, right? I right click. I either stay under lane, or sometimes I'll go back to here, right? And now I'm looking to like use the classic right click and abuse this position, right? That's what I'm looking for. So when it comes to the classic on Sova on pistol round, one of the ways that you abuse it is using shock darts and then pivoting back to a spot where the classic is really good. I'm looking at this angle here, and even if a Jet scales on me with a ghost right now, right? You put Oxy on Jet and you tell him to scale here. He's going to be half HP for my shock darts or worse, right? He's going to try to scale lane, and I'm going to sit him the fuck down, bro. This guy's not going to guard me. He's not guarding me on this angle. He's going to overheat, and I'm going to kill him. I'm going to let the game come to me with the classic, and I'm just going to abuse it. I'm going to be jiggling, right? And guess what? Let's say he's full HP. Watch this. You guys ready? Got to hit him with the left-right. You see it, bro? You like that? No, but seriously, you need to use the left-right click a lot more. You basically shoot 4 bullets immediately. Look. Like, immediately when someone peeks. This is what I need you guys to understand, is that when you're using the classic, you got to ask yourself, Trick, is the classic or the Sheriff better? A lot of people are probably wondering right now, should you be using the classic or the Sheriff? That was never the question. There are absolutely situations where both are good. Good players manipulate their decision-making to fit the gun that they're using. You guys want to know what you're told by every single coach and every person on the planet, and every pro player tells you this. They tell you, if you're on Omen, then I'm going to buy the Phantom. Because I'm on Omen, I'm going to buy the Phantom. I'm going to do a little drop smoke in A main, like this, and then I'm going to spray the heck out of him, right? That's what you're told, because we're spraying through smokes, so we should use the Phantom. Well, the same logic applies, that if I use the classic, then I am now going to play positional advantages with the classic. I'm going to manipulate my gunfights in a way that benefits the classic. I might start here, right? And if I'm full solo, eventually I might back up into all the way in the backside. I might purposely back up earlier, maybe even play an off-angle lane and then back up. And then now maybe I'll play this angle with the classic. I probably wouldn't, because I don't think this would work. But that is how you use the classic. Right? If I had a ghost, I might be more willing to, my layer 2 might be a little bit more aggressive, right? I might be trying to hold the edge of this. I might be peeking lane if I have a ghost. Now, with any gun, the same thing applies, You have a frenzy, right? You might play off this angle here, right? And then wait until you hear him, and then peek at the timing and try to spray him, okay? So we're always manipulating the circumstance to abuse our weapon. Does everybody understand that concept logically? That it's it's also about what gun you use, but your skill with that gun is your ability to manipulate the scenario to fit that gun and abuse that gun. Okay? So when I look at you on pistol round on Sova, I always tell people, if you just start out, if you start out a pistol round on Sova with a ghost and 2 shocks, okay? So you're gonna have no armor, you're gonna have the ghost and 2 shocks, and you're just gonna sit here and play like a normal person, right? And do some crappy shock dart, okay? And then back up, and then get pushed off. It's like, you're telling me, Trick, well, I've seen pro players do this. Or, Trick, what's so bad about this? It's not the fact that this is bad, okay? Buying the ghost isn't inherently bad. There are times and places, and you can still do the shock dart thing with a ghost, right? There are places for the ghost. But what I tell you is, I want you to be able to carry these rounds. You guys know how Jets carry the round? You know, you watch your favorite streamer and they're getting multiple kills on pistol. I don't want you to just be a bystander on pistol round. I want you to be the determining factor in a lot of rounds. I want you to carry this round if they go B. I don't want you to be normal at B. I want you to be slaughtering their whole team. That is the sort of impact that you need to have. We're not looking to be gold. I'm sorry if you guys are lower ranked, but we're not looking to be gold, diamond, silver, immortal. We're not looking to hit immortal for the first time. We are talking about becoming one of the best in the region at Sova. How do you accomplish that? You need to be doing what I'm saying. You need to be abusing the sheriff. Look at Brock. Okay, guys? Have you guys ever seen Brock use the sheriff in pro play? He's so good at playing it perfectly. Okay? Let's talk about that. How can we play the sheriff on pistol round to manipulate it in these circumstances into our favor? Okay, well, one of the situations that you can do is, okay, you could play an angle like this at the start. You can break the dart, and then now I can peek at timings at the sheriff. If they're scaling out to the left, I have a sheriff here, and I can wallbang them like this. I can eventually back up. Now, here's the thing. With the sheriff, I'm more likely to hold them at this choke point, right? I'm more likely to, like, fight them, break the dart, and then back up, right? They're coming out lane. Maybe I'll even play some like this, or I'll try to back all the way up, and I'll try to hold these angles here. Okay? I'm more likely to play range, hold an angle, and if I have the opportunity to, so let's say 3, 2, 1 round starts, I might just aim to a mid like this, and then now if they're top cat, I might take like a timing peek like this, right? And then back up. But let's say 3, 2, 1 round starts. It's a B rush. Then I'm going to come to here. I'm going to use my flood dart. I'm going to aim at this. And then now I'm going to body shot everybody when they get scanned. Okay, and if I darted too early or something, I'm just going to go. I'm going to spam them through the wall. If I get into a fight with somebody on top cat, this is what my movement's going to look like. So when we're using the sheriff, we have to have associated movement that makes the gun good. The reason why sheriff movement is so important is because you have to aim for body shots on pistol round, okay? You guys need to be aiming for body shots. Now listen to me right now. When you are aiming for body shots, I want you to look at this. Do you guys see this little tiny generator right here? We're going to act like that's a head, okay? And we're going to act like this big-ass box below it is the body. When I'm aiming at the body, look, I can flick super fast, right? It's so easy to aim, look. I can go from across the map and flick somebody's body almost every single time. But I can't hit that one little tiny dot up there as consistently. So when the enemy with a ghost or classic is aiming for the head, it takes them longer to aim, and subsequently it takes them longer to strafe, right? Because they're taking so long to aim that they're standing still, right? Or maybe they're bursting slower than you or shooting slower than you in this case. But with the sheriff, you can aim fast, okay? You might have been told, take your time to aim. Listen, if you're body shotting somebody, don't take your time. Hit your shots, bro. Like, lock in, gang. If you can't hit somebody in the body, if you have to aim slow to hit somebody in the body, there's something wrong, okay? So let's say that this guy's here with body shots. I peek tiles. Oh, he peeks on the left. And that's what I'm doing. I'm moving back and forth. I'm being evasive. And that movement is so protective. You're not going to get one-tapped. You're not going to die as frequently. You're going to be able to double body shot them all the time. So your movement is going to be key. So that's one of the factors that you need to understand. Yes, it is absolutely valid to do something like this, where you're angle holding with a sheriff, right? You might even angle hold an off angle like this if there's like a contact. Like if there's nothing happening in the round, you might just hold an angle. Absolutely. If I get into a 1v1 with this guy, right? 3, 2, 1, he peeks, right? I can go like this. I can definitely go for pre-fires, right? I can like jump spot and try to predict this movement, right? And then eventually back up. You could do all these things. But at the core principle of the gun, we want to be making sure that our movement is good. Okay? Someone asked, how would you approach this on attack side? When you are buying your gun on attack, usually what you do is, I talk about macro later, in terms of ranked, but you're gonna decide what you think the best option for the round is here. Is it peeking mid with a sheriff, or is it rushing the bomb site? If we rush B, for example, do you guys think you should buy a sheriff on a B rush? No. Now here's the reason. It's not the end of the world if you do. Okay, let's just be honest. It's not like it's the end of the world. But the thing about a B rush is that you're gonna end up in a situation where you're getting smoked off, you're getting mollied, and a dart's coming, and then you're getting peeked at 3 different timings. Okay, and it's pretty difficult, right? So one of the things that you can do as Sova to have an impact on a round like this is you can go classic or ghost, and you can try to shock dart them, but you can definitely just go classic double shock, right? And then come be main, and then do this, right? And then go in, and then now I have armor and a classic. So now what am I doing? I'm jumping out of this like this, and breaking angles. That way, when this guy peeks at a timing and he starts to shoot at my team, I'm jumping around like a maniac, right? I'm making myself difficult to kill, and I'm increasing the time that it takes to kill somebody by jumping around and having armor, and my teammates will end up killing this guy, right? Think of when you guys watch pro players play. You probably see this all the time in pro play. It does have to do with your spacing. You have to tell your team what's happening. You have to play it as it lies, right? You have to be listening to the audio cues and what's happening in the round. If you jump out like an idiot when there's 3 people holding you, you're just going to die, okay? So it's circumstantial. Sometimes you come out with your gun, sometimes it's jumping. Depends on what you see. But that's one of the things that you have to consider, is that if it's a close range of B rush, then I might just favor the classic for the armor, and the gun's just better, right? I want to be able to right click somebody. I want to be able to like jump off and, trade somebody with a right click. So if you told me, hey, we're just gonna walk around this round, guess what gun I'm gonna buy? If the call on my team, like let's say they have a Vice or something, like they have like a Vice Omen comp, and we're just gonna get destroyed if we rush one of the bomb sites. You know what I'm gonna buy? I'm gonna buy a sheriff, and I'm gonna walk around the map, and I'm just gonna contact. Right? I'm gonna be contact Carl walking around the map. I'm gonna do this. 3, 2, 1, round starts. I'll jump up here. Silent jump. I didn't even silent jump here. That's embarrassing. But I'm gonna silent jump up, wait for the smoke to drop, and then eventually try to kill this guy on the jiggle or something, right? Or go for some sort of mid contact. 50-50 the jet bottom mid. 3, 2, 1, round starts. Right, so we haven't even gotten past the pistol round yet, but I want you guys to understand that optimizing this and having favorite things that you like to do on each map on these rounds, and having your pistol rounds solved, and having real win conditions on these pistol rounds, what I need you guys to understand is that this is going to be super important for you. Somebody asked why no drone. It's because usually droning is so slow that it allows the other team to rotate. Okay, so the drone really doesn't end up helping you as much as you would imagine. On gun rounds, it can be good to. It's not even always good to drone, right? But normally you want something faster to take B main, right? We want like a Reyna flash if we have it, or a Phoenix flash if we have it. But we want to be fast on our executes. So when possible, we actually want to prefer to not use our Sova drone on XX. Okay. If you're using your drone, it should be for a reason. Like there's a chamber op or something like that you have to deal with. And even then, a lot of times you try not to have to do it. Okay. So it's kind of a last resort to use a drone. You only use it when you have to. Like if you're legit just gonna die pushing the bomb site, then sure you have to. So, all right, guys. So I explained the pistol round win conditions. I explained how you guys can get real impact. Guys, listen. The goal of this session is for you to apply this knowledge, take it into your games. I need you to go to a set and figure out what it's like to do the shock dart, okay? Because we'll talk about this later, but your micro matters, okay? How good you are at doing what I'm talking about matters a lot. So practice what you're gonna do. Like I told you guys, 3, 2, 1 round starts, I charge out my shock and I do this motion right there. You see that? I preemptively jump and I'm ready to shoot it. And if I hear a footstep, that's the green light, right? So it's like 3, 2, 1 round starts, I pull my shock, and then if I hear footsteps, I shoot, right? That's the green light for me to back up. And then now this shock, look, I'm trying to hit this left wall here. I kind of go off the audio a little bit, but look. I'm trying to nail somebody here, okay? So you got to be really, really, really good at it, all right? And we're not going to talk about this today, but I kind of have like a system at the start of every round. Like, okay, 3, 2, 1, I'm anti-rush, okay? And then, okay, they didn't rush. And if they go A, then I have my A dart, right? I dart A for my teammates. If they go mid, I have my mid refight dart for my teammates.
Revealing area.
Right? If we want to get B main information, I can dart deep B main.
Revealing area.
If I want to, you know, shock dart cat, anything. I have all my darts from here. So I play anti-rush at the start of the round, and I head into like my anti-rush protocol, and then I transform the round into a supportive, global, utility-based recon dart position, right? That also helps me like shock dart off this turret, right? So I can have this charged out until we hear what's happening. So that's just a little pointer. We're not going to dive deep in that today, but that's ball knowledge for you guys. Now, after pistol round, okay? Round number 2. What I guys need you to do on round number 2 is just gamble something, okay? If you lost pistol. If you lost pistol, just gamble something. It's super simple. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I don't really care. That's not what we're doing today. But obviously you need to gamble something. Do not play that round normal. You've lost your mind. Now, what if you won pistol round? Then what can we do as a weapon-based win condition? Well, I'm going to put all the guns on the ground, okay? That could be weapon-based win conditions, all right? So we're going to have the Phantom as our representative for a rifle. We're going to have a Sheriff that carried over from pistol round. We're going to have a Marshal here. You could go Outlaw. And you can go Guardian. And this is like your main... These are your main options, okay? Your most likely option is probably ending up going to be the Guardian. A lot of times, I want you to stay away from short-range guns like the Spectre and the Stinger. And the reason why I tell people to stay away from the Spectre and the Stinger, the Bulldog's not bad. The Bulldog's not bad at all. I don't personally like the Bulldog, but if you like the Bulldog, like let's say you back yourself in a fight with a Bulldog against a Vandal, if that statement is true, that you back yourself in a fight against a Vandal with a Bulldog, then it's valid by the Bulldog. I'm personally not good enough with the Bulldog. I'm not confident. I feel like if I get peeked by a Vandal, I have a Bulldog, I lose every single time. So I don't buy that gun, right? But if you're good with a Bulldog, it's 100% an option. It's right there with the Guardian, okay? But the reason why I showed you guys these guns is because obviously we have the option of the Outlaw. It is a body shot on round 2, and it can potentially carry into round 3. Sometimes your duelist buys it, though. The Marshal. What's the Marshal good at? Well, the Marshal's basically just a guaranteed victory on round 2, okay? If you lose round 2 with the Marshal, you've lost your mind. If you're on Sova with the Marshal, you could just play right here, right? And just get a 5k against the eco, right? Go mid with it on a Zen even. Just go mid and kill their whole team. It's legitimately just, like, insane how broken the gun is on round 2. But the question is, how... It's just bonus on Marshal Summit. Yes, well, it's a cheap gun, right? It's only $900. It's only $950 or whatever, right? So, it's a lot better than a Deagle. So the question is, Strick, how would you use the Marshal, right? How could you use the Marshal on a bonus round? Well, it's funny you asked. Well, for example, I could play something like this, right? Could say, oh, okay, it's a B-Rush, right? I'm looking to headshot the Jet. How much? Maybe the Jet wide swings, right? And before the smoke is down. And I go like this. Oh, I spam. Then I go to here, right? I wait for a good timing. Then I'm here again. You see? So you can still develop winning conditions and manipulate the situation to be good with a Marshal. And for the most part, when you buy a Marshal, it's probably on Breeze or Haven, which are the 2 maps where you can get the most value out of the Marshal, right? On Haven, you just play the A-line with a Marshal like this, and you go for these headshots. Or even body shots. But guys, body shotting somebody with the Marshal in round 3 is underrated. If you can just body shot them and get off the angle, it really like pisses them off, bro. They're just like almost 1 HP for the rest of the round. So it's a big deal. And obviously on, you know, a map like Breeze, you can just play pretty standard. You can Marshal this angle and then rotate. So yeah, these guns tend to be guns where either they have a win condition like the Marshal where you're always winning round 2, or they have a high conversion on round 3. Obviously, if I have a Guardian on round 3, I can, if I really wanted to, I could just aim dual top mid at the start of the round. 3, 2, 1 round starts, right? If I really wanted this fight, I could do it. I could back up to here, hear them droning, back up, jump spot. Let's say, oh, okay, they're rushing B. I could do the same dart. Okay, they come to here. I could like jiggle, spam. I could go to B main at the start. 3, 2, 1 round starts, right? I can jiggle, back up. Right, let's say they're not rushing. They start to go mid. I come to here. Then now I can just ADS Rage Peak Cat, for example. Right, you can actually take some of these long-range fights, these jiggle fights. You can be super annoying with the Guardian. So, there's a mix, right? Sometimes you can just like 50-50 the rifle on the enemy team and try to kill them. And then alternatively, you can try to like wall bang them, cheese them, etc. with your dart and your spam. Okay? So that is why I recommend some of these guns, is because they have winning conditions in round 3. When we apply that to the Spectre, for example, it feels really difficult on round 3. There's not a lot of positions that the Spectre feels really good in as a Sova player. Maybe as an Omen, it feels a lot better because you can smoke fast enough for yourself. Like, for example, if I'm on Clove, then yeah, maybe I will buy Spectre, because you know why? When I'm on Clove, if I go here, you know, it's like 3, 2, 1, round starts. Ult and A rush. It's like, come to here. I wait. Okay, I dodge the util. Now I'm like in the smoke, you know. Or maybe even I just spam, right? If I started back here, you would never start here on Clove, but let's just say it's like Omen or something. I smoke, right? And then I can dump this and go. Right, so this is a weapon-based winning condition on Clove. So the round 2 buy on Clove Spectre makes a lot more sense than it does Sova. Okay, so the round 2 buys, like I said, it really depends on how many kills you have. If possible, you always want to prioritize grabbing a Vandal or Phantom, if possible. The step down from that is either Guardian or Outlaw, and the step down from that is then the Bulldog, or worst case scenario, guys, sometimes on Pistol, if you died and you didn't get any kills at all, sometimes you legit do have to carry over like a Sheriff or buy a Marshal. That's one of the reasons why I included the Marshal. A lot of you guys in chat might think, oh, well, Trick, you know, how am I supposed to use the Marshal in round 3? It's kind of just a last resort, if I'm being honest, okay? It's like, it's a little bit of a last resort in terms of a Sova purchase. I don't know if you guys have ever played, so I don't know how many people actually played Sova here, but Sova's buy on round 2 can be really bad. Like, you can literally not have enough to go like Spectre armor on round 2, like a lot of the time. So, especially if you buy your kit. So sometimes you have to greed and just go Marshal. So that's one of the reasons why it exists. Whereas on other characters, you just don't need that much utility. So it's a little bit different. Like, I don't know if you guys ever played Breeze. Is the worst one. Breeze is the map where legitimately you get no kills on Pistol. Like, you think I'm buying a Spectre or a Stinger, you lost your mind. I'm just buying a Marshal. Then yeah, sure, round 3 is not as good, but I don't care. So yeah. Okay, guys. That's going to be round 2 and round 3. Alright? Now, let me look at, sorry guys, just looking at some notes here. Alright, so we talked about how we can impact round 1 and how we can have an advantage. We talked about how we can impact round 2, and this is purely just with weapon-based win conditions, right? We can either go the route of Marshal that secures every single round 2. We could go the route of a Vandal that has a better chance of securing round 3, etc. We talked about round 3. Now, what is another type of round on Sova that you can carry the game on? Okay, that's going to be ult rounds. All right, ult rounds are really important on both. Okay, on both halves. As soon as you get your ult, you need to use it. Specifically, there's an interaction in this game where you get your ult around round 4 or 5. If you get your ult early in the half, all right, there's 12 rounds in each half. I don't know. We'll look at it on the leaderboard here. There's 12 rounds. You have got to use your ult on round 4 or 5 if you really expect to get a second ult in the half. Okay? It is very simple, logical math here. You're going to get 2 ults per half versus 1 ult per half based on your ability to farm wars, if you got to be fragging, obviously, and use your ult early. All right? So, use your ult, bro. If you play Ascent and you're in a game, we'll talk about this later, but you have to use your best discretion. Where do I think my team can rush with my Sova ult that's going to work? If you want to go A, then sure, have a recon dart for A. So, for example, if it's a cat split, if you tell your team, yo, guys, smoke mid 1, we can just go up cat, right? Then eventually they start going up cat. You can come to here. All right, your sentinel's watching A main. Your team's going up cat. You come to here. You look at this black dot on the wall. 3, 2, 1. Full charge, 1 bounce. And then now, we're ulting trigger him. We're ulting sight. So you can see I'm darting for my team and then I'm ulting. We can do something like this if I think it's good, right? We could B split with Sova ult. I don't care. I'm down to B split with Sova ult. I'm down to B rush with Sova ult, man. You think that their B is weak? Like, for you guys want to know something good? This is some higher level stuff. But instead of ulting something random, counter an enemy player's position, right? Try to lock on to like who on the enemy team is playing predictably. Like, who on the enemy team is playing habitually? Is this Sova lane every single round? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm darting behind that guy. I'm darting behind this Sova lane and we're rushing B, and when he backs up, I'm ulting the shit out of him. Right? So that's one of the things you can do is try to counter like the common place that someone on the enemy team is playing. Whether it's just a common spot in general, or whether you literally know that they're there every single round. All right, 100%, 100%. Jay, ult that guy, closing door. Fuck that guy. Run down door, ult him instantly. You'll hit him once at least, and then your team's just gonna kill him. Absolutely. So that is how I need you guys to use your ults. Now on defense, obviously you just structure the round to be in a spot where you can have impact with your ult. So one of them is to say, hey, yo, Clove, can you decay A main at the start and tell me if they're there? Yo, Killjoy, can you turret B main? If it's A, then you go like this, right? All right. If it's B, then you go like this. Oh, it's B. Right? So you play in a spot where you can ult both sides. You kind of, lay them out. You lay your teammates out in a way where they can support your ult and be really good with it. Sometimes I'll tell my Jet to knife out to Wine in Radiant, right? Because I trust these people in high elo. If you guys don't want to do that, that's fine. But if you have a duo they can do it, I tell them, you listen, knife out to Wine at the start of the round. Just knife out Wine and then just jiggle if they're there, okay? And then you can fight with my ult after. It's like, oh, they're right. Then I start ulting, they're Wine, they peek at a timing, and I not only do I get a mini map, but they also just kill everybody, okay? So yes, we need to carry rounds with our ult, all right? We got to be good with our ult. With all of these things that I'm telling you, right, there is the intention to do it in the first place, and then there's your skill at it. I'm going to teach you guys something, everybody here right now with the Sova ult that you have not seen before, okay? So, one of the biggest skill gaps with the Sova ult to this day, God forbid, literally most tier 1 players get this wrong. Yes, I said it, most, not some. Most tier 1 players get this wrong with Sova. Okay, so what you traditionally see from a Sova is they drag their ult, right? So they'll start their ult like this, and then they'll start in the middle, and they'll drag it to the right. Nothing wrong with that inherently, right? But how can we make it better? You see, if you are from the perspective of a player in A main, and we truly want to optimize it, right? You see, I just showed you a perfect ult line, okay? So regardless, we're probably going to hit him because this ult line is so strong that just flicking the ult's probably going to work, okay? But how can we optimize the ult to be one step better, to be significantly better? It is all about what this guy sees who is dodging your ult as the indicator on his screen. That big blue outline that pops up on the map and flicks around. He sees that, okay? And what happens is if you start the indicator here while you're in the process of flicking it to the left, that entire time that he was watching that ult, he sees you flicking it left. So when he's here and he has to make a decision and he sees it coming this way, he's gonna dodge it as a pro player, right? And that's the problem. So how do we avoid that, right? Well, there's one very unique trick that you can do, all right? And the way that we avoid that problem is we start it out in the middle. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna click, wait a second, and then flick it to the right last second. So I want you guys to all look at the mini-map right now, okay? Everybody look at the mini-map. I'm going to start it here, okay? And I'm going to click. When I click, it's going to give them the indicator. Click, and then I flick it to the right. There's a delay. Click, delay, until absolutely late as possible, and then flick last second. That shows them the indicator of an ult that's going dead straight right here. That's not moving, right? So in their mind, they're looking at that indicator. It's not moving. So you do it, click, wait, last second. Impossible to dodge. It's not even possible to dodge, okay? Like, they are not dodging this. I'll tell you that right now. Now, I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to show you one step above it. You guys ready? This is the trick classic, okay? This is how I always dry ult people. I like only dry ult people, and this is what I do. Okay, so watch. I start the indicator here, like this, go left, and then back to the right. Watch this. Click, left, back to the right. Bang! Right, so it's super funny, but you can get really good with it, alright? You can get good with the movement of it. And keep in mind, guys, with Sova, you guys see how my blue outline on the minimap is... You guys see how it's, like, right against this wall? You don't need it to actually, like, hit this wall. You know, you can be, like, a foot away from it. So if I'm ulting this line right now... Like, this ult right here would hit everything on the right. You guys see that on the minimap right now? There's technically a little bit of a gap right there, right? There's technically a little bit of a gap, but, like, they're too fat, bro, you know? They'll still get hit by it. So when you end your ult, you don't have to always end it in the wall. So, as you can see here, not only do I need you guys to apply the knowledge that I'm telling you and try to do the general concept, I also need you to optimize how you're doing it. I need you to optimize your classic usage. I need to see you having good positional advantages with the classic. I need to see you having great alt lines and using it early, okay? So I want you to think about it as like almost two different things. Today, you're learning about these concepts, or you're refining your knowledge that you already knew. A lot of you guys, to some extent, should have known almost all of this stuff, or like basically all of it, right? You've heard it, you've seen it, right? But now you're refining your knowledge, and then you're going to go in and you're going to apply it, and you're going to get better at it, and you're going to optimize it. That's the goal of today. Don't think about this as like a test where you just fill out the answers, and if you know the answers, you win. That's not good enough. Got to be great at it. Go get some reps in, play with some intention, and get it done. Okay? So, now, the last weapon-based win condition that I want to talk about today is going to be the Op and the Odin. Now, both of these guns I can make a whole video about abusing, so I'm not going to tell you guys how to use them in today's video. I am sorry, but that's just what the case is. This is just completely two different topics because they're so important. But obviously, on any character that can op, right? Your Jets, your Chambers, even Reynas and stuff, you have to be using the op. You absolutely have to be using the op. It's end of the story. If I was go as far to say that if you are a Jet player who is locking Jet in ranked and you're not opping, you should literally quit the game. Like literally cut your losses, quit the game, and don't queue back up, bro. Because you are wasting your life. You're wasting your time. Why would you ever pick Jet just to not op? Why would you ever pick Chamber just to not off? I coached a Chamber and he's like, yeah, I love Chamber, but I don't know, I just don't like opping. But that's like being a quarterback and saying I don't like throwing the ball. I like I like quarterback. I like the attention, but I just like running with it when I grab it, bro. It's like nice. So what? You just want to be bad? Like I'm confused. So yes, please do not be that guy who does not op on these characters. You have to op. You have to outlaw. You have to marshal. Okay. Now, in terms of Sova, to get good with the Odin, I'm not gonna sit here. I think Brock might have uploaded like an Odin guide or something. If you could just look up TikToks about it, he'll probably teach you all about it. Okay, but really, the best thing I'll tell you is that you just need more reps with the weapon. Okay, the first thing you just need more reps. I am genuinely like the Odin is my best weapon. I used the Odin since early in the game, and I used it every single match that I ever played on Sova. Okay, so we're talking like 1,000+ matches of the Odin. Okay, I literally played death matches with the Odin. Like I have this gun very, very, very down. And there's two main skill gaps with the Odin. I'm going to tell you them. I'm not going to really tell you how to improve them because we just don't have time. But I'm going to tell you what they are. That way you can judge yourself. The first is your ability to jiggle somebody like this, right? And then understand where they're going to move after, right? Based on the round state, based on the game state, based on the situation, you're anticipating their movement. Are they going to move back to the left for safety? Are they going to go wider and get an off angle? Are they going to try to inch out on you? You have to have a read on how they're going to move. It's like you have wall hacks, right? You have to read it. Because if I jiggle this guy and I see him right now, if I'm going to get this spam kill, I need to know, oh, he's pushing me, right? Oh, he's pushing like this. I need to be able to jiggle him and push and push and push my luck and push my luck, and then eventually kill him, right? So it might be like, I'm on this angle here with an Odin. I spam, I back up because I thought they're going to counter spam me. They start execing, and then I spam when they start execing, right? So I dodged their spam, I avoided it, and then when my smoke came in, I restarted spamming the left side, assuming that they're going to walk around the corner when we smoke them and exec. You might even do this during an exec, by the way. Like, literally. For example, this isn't a great map for the example. It happens on Haven, but on, like, A site, let's say that I'm mid-site right now, and I ask for a smoke. The Jet might dash into mid-site right now, right? Like, I'm here. I mean, 3, 2, and the Jet dashes in. Right? But basically, I'm kind of overlooking this Jet for as long as possible to get the spam off on this angle or this angle, right? So, got to be kind of calm in situations like that, but you're basically reading the movements of the enemy, you're predicting their micro movements when you're jiggling them, and that is going to help you abuse the Odin, okay? You have to be calm, you have to read their movements and predict them, right? And get those punishes in when you can. It's very niche timings for it. The second thing is just your movement, okay? Every gun in Valorant is mostly a movement weapon, all right? Movement with the Odin is no different. You need to be evasive, you need to be jiggling, you need to be jump spotting, right? You can't really hard peek somebody and just one tap them, right? That doesn't work with the Odin. So naturally speaking, you gotta like jump spot them, right? You gotta like jump through the wall, hit them, and then eventually if you want to commit to a peek, you can. But you're gonna have to like break the angle with some sort of movement, with some sort of pre-fire, okay? That's how you can use it. Okay, moving on from weapon-based win conditions. So we're not going to talk about that stuff too much. Now here we are going to start to talk about the difference between an Immortal Sova and a top 10 Radiant Sova. Okay, we're talking about players that can push to be the best in the region on Sova. What is the difference between them and pro players on Sova? Between an Immortal player or a low end Radiant player, right? Like bottom Radiant. Like right now, I'm bottom Radiant. Obviously, I know this stuff, but it's because I just don't grind the game. But what's the difference between, like a 300 RR Radiant and a 1000 RR Radiant? Well, I'm going to show you it right now. There's going to be a couple of things that we talk about. And if anyone here in chat right now, who all here in chat, I want you guys to type if you are at least Immortal 3. I don't know if there's going to be anyone here that's a high rank, okay? But who all here is at least Immortal 3? Anybody? Type in the actual chat channel. RR. Got it. What about Immortal 1? Immortal 1 or higher? Okay. So, we have a couple more. I want you guys, everyone in chat right now, okay? Every single time that you were told about Sova, you want to know what you were told? If you looked at good content on Sova, you would probably say, hey, you need info timings, okay? How many of you guys have heard that? That you guys need info and ranked on Sova? Type in chat if you've heard that before, that you need to get info. What if I told every single one of you guys you were told a fucking lie? They all lied to you. Every single one of those people lied to you. All of them. Even if they were good themselves. They all lied to you. Alright. How many of you guys here have heard that it's all about the timing of your darts? You ever hear that before? That it's all about your timing of when you throw the dart. It's not about the dart itself. It's about the timer. It's about the timing. Right? You guys have heard that. That's partially true. But does that make you radiant? Does that really make you radiant? Really? But then how come all these coaches who teach it can't get radiant then? How come I'm looking at their trackers and they're stuck in Ascendant? I thought they knew how to get radiant though. No, they don't. They think they do. They think they do because it's a true concept, right? But there's so much missing from it. There's so much better ideas. Okay, so let's look at it. How can we actually develop a skill gap on scan? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. If you want to look at the best Radiant versus an Immortal Sova, this is what you need to develop, okay? So a weapon-based winning condition is already one of them. All right, that's one of the 5 pillars that I always teach my private clients. I don't verbally tell them that there's 5. I just explain this one by one. So the weapon-based win conditions was number 1. I'm going to teach you number 2 now, and that's all we're going to look at today. We're going to look at the first 2, and that's it. You might think, oh, it's only 2 out of 5. Listen, it's a lot of information still, okay? And you guys are lucky that I'm sharing it for free. All right, usually this stuff costs $500 to listen to, okay? So, what is that second thing? Well, it is going to be, the start of it that we're going to talk about is going to be positional mastery in your common positions and in your common interactions. What the hell does that mean? What in the hell is Trick talking about? Okay, positional mastery in your common spots is basically the common spots like, defensive B side ascent, right? Defense A line haven, okay? Breeze, middle, and then rotating into A and rotating into B. Okay, all of your quote unquote common positions, throw the fade eye towards A or A fight, all of your quote unquote common starting spots, especially on defense, by the way, you need to have positional mastery. Okay, so let's head in to Haven and let me show you an example. So everybody here on Sova, everybody here on Sova probably plays the A line on Haven. Do you absolutely have to? No, right? You don't absolutely have to, but your team is probably going to tilt if you don't. All right? You need to have this solved. The whole point of what I am talking about right now is that when you all look at improvement, when you all look at Sova, you think, okay, well, being good at Sova Haven means that I've got to learn utility for C. I've got to learn utility for garage, for B, for short, for long, for A site, for C site, right? For close C site on the anti-eco. I've got to learn all this utility. And you've been taught this propaganda that is what's going to make you the best Sova player. All right? But no, there's usually 1 or 2 spots on every single map that if you put all of your time into getting better at that spot, your win rate on the map would skyrocket, okay? The best way to explain it is that there's 12 defensive rounds on average, okay, or like in an average game where it's not just lost before that happens, okay? There's 12 rounds on defense. If you play 9 out of 12 of those on average per game, 9 rounds per game on A long Haven, where do you guys think you should put your time into getting better at? Do you really think that you should be getting all this random shit and training all this random stuff? Guys, you're here every round. Every single round you're in the same spot. So guess what? Why wouldn't you put all of your effort into solving this and becoming great at this position? Let's talk about how you can do that though. Okay? That is the concept that we're talking about. Let's talk about how you can actually achieve that. So when we approach the A line here, okay? So we approach it here. Right now, when the round starts, it's pistol round, by the way. This changes depending on what round it is, right? Round 2, round 1, it's all going to be different. Let's say it's pistol round and I'm by myself here, okay? So, I am going to give you guys an example of positional mastery of Haven 8 long. Alright, and then you're going to take this example and you're going to try to apply it to other maps. But I want you guys to understand that this is so nuanced, I could talk about it forever. I'm just going to give you a couple examples of some concepts. You can start to understand what the skill gap is. So, 3, 2, 1, round starts on pistol round. I'm using a sheriff here, okay? Okay, and I'm like trying to hold this line. You guys probably can't see it on the screen, so I'm going to buy a marshal just to explain it. But what I'll do is I'll peek this angle until I can see about this much, and then I press my S key against this wall, eventually until I see this pixel. You see that? You guys see that pixel right there? And then I'll just be here with the pixel. I might even pull my knife out, okay? And I'll just back up, okay? And then I'll decide if I want to go for like a time and peek like this, and then back up to back sight like this, right? Then here, etc. Okay? So that's what I'll do. But here's the problem though. What happens if the enemy team has a chamber? You guys know what's going to happen to me if I do this against a chamber in Radiant? You want to know what happens to my fucking noggin? Absolutely horrific scenes over here at A long. Horrific scenes. Okay? So what do I do against a chamber to solve this? Well, I use my recon. Right, traditionally, you're probably told, like, hey, don't waste your recon. I totally agree. It's your best defensive tool, and it's also really good to help the C hit, of course, right? But I am not going to be able to hold this. If I am here by myself, I cannot hold this A line without my recon. So if my Jet's here and he's going to hold the cross, I'll tell him, hey, cross bricks, and can you hold the cross? Like, I can't really peek chamber. If I tell him that, then, of course, I'm not going to have to peek it. I don't have to waste my recon, right? But if Jet is not here and I'm by myself, 3, 2, 1, round starts, right? Then I'm just wasting my recon against the chamber. That way, if he's not here, I have the A line, and if he is here, I can try to bitch him off. And then maybe, if I scan only chamber, let's say the enemy team is like lurking garage, and I just scan chamber only, then I actually will take the fight against them. As soon as I have confirmed information that the chamber's by himself, I'm literally gonna stand in the open and just try to double body shot him. Okay? Assuming that he gets scanned, right? Now, let's say for example, 3, 2, 1 round starts. I come here and I dart. And all of a sudden, oh, it's all their team. Then look, I'm going to try to like jiggle pre-fire this. I'm going to back up. Okay, I'm looking to hold this angle next. Like here. Looking to hold. Jiggle. Pre-fire. And then eventually back up. I don't have a recon anymore. And then play backside. I'm always going to ask for this mid-sight smoke. And then help my teammates flood. But there's a caveat here. There's going to be 2 main types of way that I decide my decision-making on the A fight here. Okay? So in terms of my A-side defense. Under the assumption that it's an A hit, I'm going to have 2 main styles. There's more than this, but I'm going to have 2 main styles, okay? And they're all going to be dependent upon a quote-unquote protocol, you would call it in pro play, right? There's going to be, like, situation number 1, all right, that I'll map out, and there's going to be situation number 2. And basically all of the rounds that I play on pistol round tend to fall into this, and I can also just IGL the team to fit into one of these, right? So I have one of 2 situations here. And number 1 is going to be when we are in some sort of 1-3-1. Alright? I'm sure you guys know what a 1-3-1 is, but it's when your team just starts mid, okay, and fast rotates to your bomb site, you ask for the mid-site smoke. When I have rotates, so now we're in this left side path, we're in situation number 1. This is under the assumption that it is a 1-3-1, and I have rotates. My goal here is to live when I am playing this round. I buy the Sheriff. I might even not buy the Sheriff when I'm 1-3-1ing, by the way. Genuinely. I might actually buy Classic. I might actually buy Ghost. But 3, 2, 1 round starts, right? It's here. I back up. I try to kite the fight. Now my goal here is to cause friction without dying. Okay? So number 1, I want a percent chance to get a body shot off for damage or a kill off, okay? So I'm trying to get free damage. When I say kiting, it's a term that I'm going to explain later as well. When I say kiting, it's basically going to be getting away from this line, but not in one fell swoop, okay? You're actually going to be, like, fucking with them a little bit, like that, and then backing up, and then, you know, greeting pretty hard, all right? And the reason is because if the enemy team is running it down, like, let's say that he's on Phoenix, all right? The reason why a lot of you guys lose your bomb site is because you have no idea how to cause friction. Is kiting a league term? I thought it was Overwatch, but you have no idea how to cause that friction. So the 3, 2, 1 round starts. They come to here, right? They come out. They saw you recon from here. They run. And look, within like 5 seconds, like the Phoenix is going in. He's in the bomb site already. Okay. But now, let's say we replay this. What happens when he flashes and I do this? Look, he flashes, okay? He comes to here, and I body shot him, and he goes like this, right? And all of a sudden, he's freaking out. You see that? That hesitation. Then he comes here, he waits for a steam. He waits, he's like, oh shit, he could be baiting for somebody. Oh wait, I gotta heal, right? And then he peeks this, and he's like, oh, dude, I'm fucking 1 HP, bro. So look, you're causing that friction, you're not letting them get into the bomb site first timing, okay? And that's important. And I'll take this a step further. When you are diagnosing after pistol round, okay, so a couple rounds into the game, you need to be diagnosing what the enemy entry is doing, what their pathing is, because I like to label entries as 2 kinds of people, and it's usually jet players. Okay, there's usually 2 kinds of jets or neons or whatever, and I like to describe them as 2 different categories mainly. Okay, there's going to be monkeys, and there's going to be the YouTube Shorts watcher. All right, those are your 2 types. The YouTube Shorts watcher is some terrible player who plays super fundamental on jet, jump spots everything, right? And eventually does the most basic dash and just lives inside their smoke. All right? They watch YouTube Shorts on entry pathings, and they're probably not a problem, okay? Now, the first one, the monkeys, this is what it looks like. 3, 2, 1 round starts. Blocking sight. Right? First timing. They're going first timing into the bomb site. You guys want to know why this is important? Is because that kind of monkey archetype of a duelist player, they're greeting, right? They're not peeking this angle properly right here. They're not peeking A long properly. So when you find out that you're against a player like that, you either need to call for help and start holding layer 1, right? You don't even have to 1-3-1 anymore. You can just face it. You need to start holding that choke point originally with like an op or like with Vandals out in the open or something. Or you know, find some sort of fight. You've got to fight into them. You cannot let them get that timing. That timing is so greedy, you have to kill them. Because my god, that's too fast of a pace. You can't let them get away with that. So you could try to just cause that friction like we talked about and make that work. But if that's not enough, then you are going to have to call your teammate over here and kill them. Because my god, it's going to go bad for you if they get onto the bomb site. Their entry's way too fast. And it's too random at that point. Okay? So let me look at my notes here, because I kind of got lost. All right, so we're talking about the common position. So yes, this is just, honestly, guys, I've even gotten close to, like, how I play this spot. But this is what it looks like to have positional mastery, okay? Oh, yeah, and the second option here. So let's say it's not a 1-3-1. Does anyone know how I'm going to change my play? Let's say my teammates are all gambling the other side of the map. Does anybody know how I'm going to change my play for option number 2, where it's not a 1-3-1 and I'm by myself on A? Does anybody know how? Right? Live for info, play retake. Fuck no! Fuck no! Oh my... Retake? Hell nah! Retake? Stall? Who am I stalling for? Nobody's coming, bro. Nobody's coming. Why would I stall? Listen, this is what happens, okay? This is what happens when I'm solo A. I go to Spotify, I turn on my music, I put on NBA Youngboy, okay? And I blast it. I don't even have an audio. I put on NBA Youngboy. 3, 2, 1, round starts. I'm here. That's what's happening. Okay? I'll do that, or maybe I'll peek short. 3, 2, 1, round starts. I'll come down to here, and I'll just solo short. Depending on what I see. I'll just take the fight. Okay? That's what I'll do. And if not, If not, then yeah, sure, I'll just hold the A line. Surely, yes, as sometimes you can just hold the A line and then back up still. Okay, it's not the end of the world. You can play a retake. So, but I want you guys to get into the mindset that when you're by yourself, you do not want to give away your info. A lot of you guys who I coach who are Radiant, I don't know how many people are Radiant here. I think I asked before, but a lot of you guys who are just like new into Radiant, you guys always show yourself. Do you guys understand how if you're by yourself on this bomb site, do you know how bad it is to like constantly show yourself? You're basically gonna lose the fight because as soon as they see you, right, they see you on this long cross, they'll like lock into you like a laser beam, right? They're laser focus on you. If I'm a jet and I'm about to enter this bomb site and a Sova like shock darts from back here, one shock dart can lose you this round. You shot a shock dart from back here, he's gonna dash in looking straight at you. Why wouldn't he? You just revealed your position. But when you're full silent and he doesn't know if you're here, 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 or here, then that jet is gonna go in blind. Now he's gonna be forced to kind of clear this corner like this. Then now like he's freaking out, you know? So we don't want to give him that position. We don't want to give him that, information, I should say. This is definitely true for your chamber as well. Don't give them that information. You're making the game easier for them. That's why you're getting ran down. You guys are getting first timing entry on A because you're not causing enough friction and because you're giving away your position for freebie. Okay, don't do that. All right. Now, no darters are coming out. Yeah, you can darters are coming out. Totally fine. You absolutely can. But a lot of times, foretold, you want to know what happens with people who try to dart? What they do is they play the long line, and then they don't cause any friction. They go straight back to their dart. I'd say probably 70% of Sova players have that problem that I review that are in like Immortal. They'll play the line here, and then like their first reaction is go all the way back site and play for their dart, right? And they're missing that like friction during that transition phase here that slows the enemy down and allows for rotates, right? Don't those two contradict each other because those slow down your rotate? Exactly, they do, Sedley. That's why you do one of them when you have rotates, right? So when you have rotates, you cause friction, right? And you give away your position. But when you're by yourself, you don't slow them down. You just play for kills, right? It's just dependent upon like is slowing them down going to do anything? Because slowing them down doesn't do anything if I'm by myself. If there's no rotate coming, slowing them down for what? They're still going to get the site for free. So, all right, that's going to be an example of. That's just going to be an example of positional mastery. Okay, so I took you down like a thought hole of how this works. A thought hole. What the hell is that? But like kind of a mental map right there of what it's like. So another example though, guys, is sunset. I'm going to teach you one thing here, and I want to move on. All right, guys, I have so much that I could teach you. I don't have all day. One of the things on Sunset, have you guys ever played a comp on Sunset that's like this? That's legitimately, they got monsters on the other team. Okay? They have like Breach and Waylay type characters, maybe like Neon. They have these type of characters on the other team. Basically, you automatically lose the A fight and you're on defense. One of my favorite ways to play this. How many of you guys watch Naruto? Okay, because this is about to be a spoiler if you haven't. So mute it. Be care. You watch Naruto. I want you to understand what I'm about to tell you. Like you're Itachi after he slaughtered his whole clan. You're gonna bear the hatred of everyone. Okay? You're gonna bear that hatred yourself. You know what you're gonna do? Instead of telling your team to fight these guys, you know what you're gonna say? Yo, team, let me solo away. Whoa, this guy's crazy. Yo, this guy's crazy. What do you mean solo away against Breach Neon? That's what you're gonna do. You wanna know why? You're gonna solo A and you're just gonna play like an info bot. Right? Because any sort of variation of an A fight here on defense does not feel good. You're getting shit on. Nothing feels good against these comps on an A fight if you can't fight it with a Breach yourself or an Omen yourself. So because of that, we're just going to play solo. I'm going to tell my team, listen, smoke for me, okay? And then I'm just going to dart behind it, all right? And then I will play this, okay? I will play this myself. I will have good risk assessment here. And I will trust myself to do a good job of getting information and reading the enemy's intentions with my info, with my positioning, and, trying to take space when I can. That way, my teammates can fortify the rest of the map, and I can trust my own micro game sense to win the round on A. Now, this is very complicated because you're asking a lot of yourself, but this is one of those rounds where instead of me trusting my own jet against an enemy Breach stun, Neon stun, etc., instead of that, a lot of times I'll say this. I'll say, yo, just let me solo away. The A fight's AIDS, bro. I'll play A for info. I'll play safe. Like we'll be good. Okay. You guys just need to flood spawn. I'll always tell them to flood spawn. Okay. And then that's what we'll do. And we'll have a winning condition where my jet, when I tell him like, hey, chill, and then just flood spawn, he doesn't autopilot here. He rotates the spawn and he helps me. And when I end up layer 2 back site, he's flooding in and helping me. And then we can end up smoking this, right? I can call for all these things. And I can beat the other team with this micro play by calling for the smoke, anchoring gen, and then getting the CT rotate, right? All of these things start to come together where I'm developing a way to counter this comp. All right? So that's what positional mastery looks like. I have different looks. I can do whatever I need to do. I can be an infobot by myself. I can be a structured team fighter with a really strong recon dart. Okay, that is what it looks like. Now, the next thing that I want to talk, and there's a lot more. I'm only talking about 2 pillars. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is, and I'm going to use Sunset as an example because it's the. Or actually, we'll use multiple maps as an example. Okay, if you want to be a Radiant level Sova player, you need to be adaptive in your playstyle. What does that mean? That you are going to be asked to be basically an anchor on some maps, right? So on Ascent B site, I think we can all agree, Sova's basically a B site anchor for all intents and purposes. He's not a rotator on this map. He is legitimately a B site anchor with global utility. Okay, so you need to be good at anchoring. You have to understand your anchor fundamentals on Sova here. I can't get into that today. It's too long to talk about it. It realistically depends on the map and the utility and teammates that you have and your positioning and all sorts of things, right? But you need to be capable of anchoring. But that doesn't mean that's the only thing you know in Sova. You want to know something else? You've got to be good at the info play style. So a great map for that is like that interaction on Sunset where these interactions on A are just so bad. You have nothing to fight A. It feels super awkward. So you get really good at playing for info. You mix up your darts. You figure out how you want to get info. You know when you want to drone. And you really get good at playing for info. It's the same thing on the Haven A cross, right? On all these situations. Okay? You need to be really good at getting info. And also like information timings that all these coaches told you about. The next thing is, guess what? You've also got to be an IGL, right? If you truly want to impact the outcome of your ranked games, you have got to IGL to some extent, right? You have got to be somewhat commanding with your utility. Like, hey, let's go here with my ults. Okay, here, follow my drone here. Let's jump this chamber, right? That is how you need to play Sova to get an impact. Technically, you can do this on any role, right? But you got to understand in the scope of ranked, Sovas on attack aren't going to impact the round that much. Yes, they have utility in some cases that can impact the round, but in terms of an A exec, the best I'm doing for my teammates is a recon dart, and then what? My jet dashes in, and it's like, hey jet, good luck, bro. He's going to win the round. So the question is, how could a Sova get to the point where he's impacting rounds, where he obviously has to pick the right things, right? He has to make the right calls. So you can start to impact the rounds by doing that, right? I'll give you guys an example of an IGL com that's good. Because a lot of people think big picture when you think IGLing, right? When I say IGLing, I guarantee every single person here instantly thought of macro. They instantly thought of let's go A or B. Okay, that's what you think IGLing is. But let me give you guys an example of what a really good IGL looks like. This is my favorite comm on Breeze. Okay, so when we rush A, I tell my teammate, my jet sorry, I call it freeze time, but I'm gonna start calling it pre-round. I tell my jet in pre-round, listen, bro, can you just like, bro, smoke the floor, okay? And then smoke here and live in your smoke, okay? Just live inside your jet smoke right here. And then I will dart back site late and I'll scan their whole team. And that's what happens. You always drone first on this map, right? You have time for it, so you just do it's a very short drone and clears everything. And then your jet smokes to the ground, and then he dashes in, your wall's up, and then I get off my drone early and I recon back site. And then that pressure of him living right here, it's that common interaction, right, where like the timing of the dart matters a lot. Right as his jet smoke's fading, my dart's landing and pinging all of back site. Okay, this is a really good IGL comm here because I am amplifying the impact of my recon dart, and I'm kind of externally making my jet have better decision making and entry potential because of that communication. All right. So that is the sort of IGLing that works really well in ranked. That's what you need to be as a recon player, okay? You've got to find these small situations where you can tell your jet how to get value and you can like really give them utility that works and structure the rounds to play for it, and you will win more. One of the reasons why I told you that whole timing thing is a scam, okay? It's not just about like making sure your dart is at the right timing. It's about making sure that you and your duelist are on the same page and you're supporting him in the best way possible. Okay, that's the real goal. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is being a really good trade fragger. Okay, it's like second entry. So for example, on Breeze, I'm gonna ask you guys. Okay, on Breeze, what are we normally dealing with on Breeze? Somebody put it in chat. We're they have one anchor, and then where does the next player peek me from? Okay, let's say that we have one chamber already that we know is ladder. Let's just say that we know a chamber's ladder right now. Okay, where's the second contact point at traditionally? Half wall. A lot of people are saying half wall. Pillar. Okay, listen. Here's what you need to understand if you ever want to be good at this game. And God help me, this is not what we're talking about in today's session, but I need you guys to understand this. All of you guys who get flustered, all of you guys who don't have good game sense, it's because you don't understand what I'm about to tell you. I'm going to use an easier map. That way, everyone at every rank here can understand. If you rush B on split, there is going to be traditionally, unless it's a bait setup or something, because your B rush was obvious, right? If your B rush is obvious, you got to be more worrisome. But you are usually going to be dealing with a primary anchor. Okay, so we're going to call this guy the primary anchor. All right, and then your second contact is going to be the flood. So think of like a race who's nading and flooding. This is what's going to happen on B. So guys, where do they flood from at B? Heaven. It's always heaven. It's not spawn. It's always heaven. Okay, so if I was to entry right now, all right, if I was to be on split right now, and I ran into this B side on Sky, and I just dogged this guy at pillar, and he's TPing around, the Omen's TPing around, and I go in, I should be flashing, and then guess what I should pre-aim? I should peek, and then I should peek heaven like my life depends on it. I should be holding heaven, peeking heaven. I shouldn't even be moving forward. I should be fully playing for heaven right now. Fully. And having that understanding, instead of this bomb site just being one, one big red area like this, you just think, oh my god, they could be anywhere, right? You just look at this whole bomb site as dangerous, right? And in your head, you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm going in, I'm clearing left and right. Oh my god, I'm getting so flustered. It shouldn't be like that, okay? This is what it should look like. It should look like, yes, this is happening here. This is what it should look like in your head. This is happening, and this guy's anchoring. Okay? That's how you have to look at a bomb site. You have the primary anchor, the primary person who's there. There's obviously bait setups that we have to be worried about. And then we're worried about where is the danger. Okay? So ask yourself, where is the danger? If I'm going anywhere on this map, I know where the danger is. In every single situation. On every single map. Pick it, name it, it'll be there. Right? If I exec B first timing on sunset, the first thing that I'm worried about, if there's a cipher back site, the first support that I'm worried about is a clove coming out of this smoke that traditionally closes the door, right? I'm worried about that. So yes, I'm worried about an anchor plus this. And when you start to realize that the game is more predictable than what you think, you can start to actually outplay them. We do the same thing with Aeon's with Heaven Flood. Yes, but the only caveat is that sometimes people do play like very differently. Like sometimes there's no site player, sometimes there's one heaven, sometimes there's two heaven, sometimes it's ramp. It's a little bit more volatile on A site split, but you should still be worried about the heaven flood in the same way though. Absolutely. But you have to be like a little bit more careful because the site guy can always see you. Yeah, people play screens. Like the problem is like the micro on split, for example. Like even if you know they're coming out of heaven, it's not like you can play right here and hold the heaven flood because you can die to back sight, right? So it gets pretty hard to hold heaven whenever you can die to back sight. Fun fact, by the way, everybody, if you play Sky on split, go into a custom game and learn this flash. Okay, it's above the wall right here. Learn how to throw this flash. If you learn how to throw this flash, you'll win this guy A side exec way more. Okay, get good at this flash. I just put you guys on ball knowledge here. If there's anyone on Sky, I assign you to go into a custom game. Just do it right now and go up in the air and look at what this sky bird flashes. It flashes this whole entire back wall here, every single off angle, 100%. And it flashes the heaven flood at a deeper angle. It flashes like right here, like over the single box. They see that, so it flashes like 90% more. So go down demolish for rafters exactly, right? So guys, let's say that you're in a Radiant game and you apply this knowledge. It's like, yeah, you rush A on split. It's like, sure, you tell your team that, hey, I'm gonna spam flashes here. Yo, Killjoy, can you double molly the heaven flood? And then now you're really painting a picture of like, okay, we're denying this, and I'm doing flashes to deny all the timing peaks on this site entry. And you can start to really formulate these rounds well. Okay, so we talked about how you can be a second frag, how you got to be aware of the situation, that way you can be a good second frag, okay? But you've also got to be a good fighter. What the hell does that mean? You've got to hold your ground to some extent. I always tell people this. There's an overlooked concept in Valorant that all of you guys who watch Valorant don't understand, okay? You guys simply have not competed at a high enough level to like analyze the interactions enough to really understand it. But in every pro game, in every scrim, in every tier 2 game, there's one team who usually dominates the dry fights, okay? And basically, for example, there's usually one team who is willing to take the dry fights and the other team that's scared to take them, generally speaking, because they're getting skill gapped, right? Like if teams are playing against, for example, you guys want to know the number one person that you'd never dry fight? You guys know this guy right now? This guy is a fucking monster. You dry fight this guy, you are dead. You are dead. 100% of the time. Legitimately, it's not possible to kill this guy. Okay? So, what's happening is when you apply that to Ascent and he's lurking either on CT and B main or here, the Cypher is so scared to make forward progress against this chamber that could be peeking him at a timing. He's trying to overuse his utility, right? And use so much utility to deal with him. Whereas, let's say for example, you're against Cloud9 and it's Zelsis on Killjoy, right? Let's say Zelsis is on Killjoy at B, right? And it's Zelsis plus some random whoever their Sova is, right? And Jack. And they're playing side on B. A lot of times the Cypher's actually going to take B main and maybe actually end up breaking this turret dry. Do you guys understand the difference? In one case, a tier 1 pro player is willing to like bully Zelsis for B main control and potentially be willing to risk the 50-50 because he's like, oh, I'm on attack against Zelsis, bro. It's easy peasy. Bro, you guys know why I literally got scrim banned from NRG or they got really mad because I rushed B against FNS like 10 times in a row. But that's exactly what I would call in a real game. Why would I go to Prime Ye's bomb site on Chamber? Are you stupid? You just told me that I'm dumb for going to Prime Ye's bomb site? He's opping A. I can either go to an old man's bomb site on Killjoy, or I can go to Prime Ye on A. Are you stupid? Obviously, I'm going B! Are you dumb? So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a real thing, though. It is absolutely... By the way, FNS isn't as bad as what people say. I just used it as an example so you guys would understand, to be honest. But this is, like, absolutely, like, how the game works at this level. And yeah, so you've got to be able to win your dry fights, right? Every chamber is going to try to lurk mid, and if you let this guy just do whatever he wants on Breeze, then you've lost your mind. At some point, right, you've got to actually hold this mid cross and kill them, right? And when I say kill them, I mean kill them. I don't mean hey, get the info on the mid cross, right? A lot of people think, oh, get the info on the mid cross. No, I'm saying slaughter them on the mid cross. I mean sit here, put your hands up, and throw a fade. Run the fade with this guy. Drop the gloves, start scrapping, bro. Choke this guy out. That's what it is. It's the same thing on the Haven A line. Sometimes you're getting bullied way too hard. You have to just stand your ground and fight. So you have to be a good fighter. You got to know when to fight. Now, we are talking. We're running a little bit of overtime here, but I am going to give you guys a little bit more advice here. So the next most important thing that we're not going to dive super deep into is ranked macro. Okay? And ranked macro is simply this. When you start the game, you need to look at the enemy's team comp and you need to make decisions based on their team comp to win the round. There's usually a solution. So, for example, if I head into the enemy team and they have this comp, all right? Let's say they have this comp here, which is not like unlikely. This is like pretty common these days, right? Double duelist in chamber in Clove. This is usually what you face. What I'm looking at here is like, okay, legit, all three of these guys love to play B, okay? These guys love to play B. They love to fast rotate, okay? I think this guy's probably going to play A, and this guy's probably going to play C, all right? And now the thing is, C long against chamber, I don't like that. So my thought process right now, naturally, against a 1-3-1, all right? Against a 1-3-1, what I'm thinking is, all right, why don't we just jet smoke the A cross and then 4 walk garage, right? So that's what my call would be. Jet smoke the A cross, break the dart, right? Try to incentivize shifting over this group of 3 players to this side here. Try to shift over these players into this area and avoid Chambers' deep line with a deagle. And then that way we can get close to chamber here and pop on him where his chambered eagle's not that good, right? Because his chamber sheriff just is not as good against the garage split as it is against the C long hit. If we just rush C against him, we might just lose, and the flood's coming. So I'm shifting these players over with a mini fake, is what I call it, and eventually we're hitting the enemy team sentinel in the most optimal way possible. Sometimes that's in a C long hit, but in this case it's garage. Does that all make sense to everybody here? So we're looking at the enemy's team comp, we're anticipating things from it, we're trying to make the correct call based on that in pre-round. You might say, my teammates aren't listening to me. Listen up right now, okay? Your teammates aren't listening to you for a couple of reasons. One, you can just get unlucky. You got to read the room. When I say read the room, that means you've got to vibe check your team and see if they're going to be the kind of team that listens. But a lot of you guys think that IGLing, that, oh, well, I told them to go see and they didn't listen. Your goal is not to tell your team to do stuff. Your goal is to get them to listen, right? So you've got to optimize your tone, your framing, and everything. If I was to start a pre-round, everybody don't type yet, okay? I'm going to do a pre-round right now. Okay, like we're in a ranking. Yo, guys. Honestly, guys, I think they're gonna over rotate, bro. They have Reyna, Jet, Chamber. I don't really want to go see Long. Guys, I'm telling you, I think if we just Jet smoke the A cross, I guarantee this will work, bro. Jet smoke the A cross, Jet just break the dart, do your own thing, do whatever you want over there. Try not to die, and we'll just literally 4 walk garage and then pop C, okay? Legit, just let Jet do everything over there today by yourself, and then everybody just come garage with me, bro. This is gonna work. And guys, let me jiggle the mid walk down. Don't peek the mid walk down yet. I'll take care of it. You frame it in a way, okay? You frame it in a way that you tell them why you're doing it, you give them that confidence, okay? And you're going to re-solidify their beliefs. And a lot of you guys, when you talk and you try to call something, you like sound weird, or you sound like, you sound like you're not confident, or you're saying it with like 10 seconds left. Bro, I'm doing it at the start of the game on pissed around, and I'm like socially manipulating them with my words. You hear how I like broke the ice? Like, yo, guys, I'm not gonna lie, they're gonna over rotate. Bro, we can keep it simple. All we have to do to beat their comp, bro, listen, just jet smoke the A cross, break the dart, and we'll all just contact garage, okay? Literally just group up 4-man contact garage, we'll just monkey down this chamber after our jet like fakes the A cross. We frame it like that and it'll work. Alright? So that's what we need to do. You need to develop those skills to frame it like that, say it, and you gotta read the room. If your jet is literally a terrorist on your team, right, and he is legitimately throwing the game, then it's okay. You've got to go into kill mode, right? So I started the game with the intention, like, okay, I'm gonna call, okay, but then there was the Hitler intervention, right? So we had this guy on my team on jet. So now that Hitler has been re-solidified in modern society and he's on my rank team, now what do? I go into kill mode, right? Instead of calling, I'm just gonna try to kill. I'm gonna try to carry the game with good utility. I'm gonna try to get 3 kills around, etc. So yes, a lot of you guys are saying, "Oh, but I can't call in my games. My teammates aren't listening." I get that. Half your games, I understand that, but a lot of you guys never get to call because you just don't know how to frame things. You don't know how to build confidence in yourself, and you don't need to call every round, right? Call pistol round, call some of these more important rounds, right? And tell them the reason why you're doing it. A lot of people will listen. Okay, but you also need to go into kill mode, bro. There is going to be some games where your teammates are trolling, and you've got to have that gear that you can shift into. Where you literally, I'm not kidding. I will turn music on in my ear. I will turn music on late in the background. I'll relax, and I'll literally just try to slaughter their whole team and walk around. You guys all understand that? That's what that sort of stuff is going to be super important. But yeah. Also, what someone said in chat, keep it simple. Absolutely, keep it as simple as possible. You have trollers in Immortal? I have more than trollers. I have wind traders. I have people that are paid to throw. But I still got Radiant. It's possible. It's easy. Coach multiple people to Radiant. Coach people to top 10. All sorts of stuff. Coach people into tier 2, winning tier 2, going to Ascension tournaments. It's okay, bro. It's not worried about that random guy in your ranking. I'm gonna give you guys all a reality check before we leave, okay? Every single person that you guys are against right now, with the caveat being anyone here is Radiant Immortal 3, throw horrible at Valorant, okay? Regardless of what you want to say about your teammates trolling or not, I could head into your ranked game in your little shitty rank and I could go shit on their faces. As somebody that doesn't even play this game. I don't even play this game anymore. But I would fucking dominate the people that you're against. You wanna know why? Because it's not about having a troller on your team, bro. You are going to win the majority of your games over a long period of time if you start to find impact with what I told you today. I told you, have those weapon-based win conditions, Okay, pistol round, round 2, ult rounds, sheriffs, classics, manipulate them properly. Okay, the scan skill gap with your positional mastery, your adaptive play, your ranked macro. When you put all of this together, you'll be able to do it too. I'm literally teaching you guys how I would shit on people in your rank. If you apply it, you will improve. Not only a little bit, you'll improve a lot. Okay, guys. So I was planning on honestly, it took a little longer to explain that than I thought. I think today we're not gonna look at VODs. We will nobody really submitted any good VODs, so that's also part of the reason why. Like in the VOD submission, I looked through all of these VODs. They're either like this VOD's not recorded properly, this VOD's jet, this VOD is Sova Breeze with the minimap cover, and it's the best game that he's played in 2 months. So sorry, Zolka, don't mean to be toxic, but it's literally your highest kill game in 2 months. So it's just all sorts of like suboptimal VODs. You just don't play ranked on the screen. It's all good, bro. But it's like you wouldn't want to look at your best performance ever in like a seminar where people are trying to learn like from mistakes that you're commonly making, because that's a game with like the least amount of mistakes that you could have made because you just shit on them. You probably just aimed at them or something. So regardless, though, guys, I can see why you only went 2 out of 5, but like an overload of info. I want you guys to understand something before we leave, just so you guys understand what Free Coaching Friday is going to be moving forward. Is that I competed in this game and I was able to achieve like getting signed and go professional, and then I quit this game. Okay, and I went on to coaching. I have slowly improved my coaching, my understanding of this game to a great extent. All right, I have really pushed my understanding. I have I've looked to understand why Brock is so good on Sova. I want to understand why Mod is so good on Duelist. I all of these things. Okay, and I'm going to be helping you guys with that. People traditionally only ever heard this behind a paywall. This is stuff that I didn't even teach in a lot of my programs. This is like a level above those public programs. This is like genuinely some high level stuff. I'm gonna give you guys more ball knowledge as time goes on. If you guys want to learn that stuff, you need to hop in. But I'm gonna tell you guys something a little bit secret here. All right, my community and my goals in Valor have a very high standard. I want you guys to pursue greatness. Okay, I know that's a cringe concept, but I truly want you guys to aspire to be good. I don't want you to just put in the bare minimum. I want to tell you guys this stuff, and I want to see you actually go do it. I hate when people play this game to Mickey Mouse around. If you want to play for fun, play for fun. All right, but that's it. You either play for fun or you aspire for greatness, and anything in between is a waste of your time. Anybody here, if any of you right now who are immortal, who have any chances of going, you want to go pro, you want to scrim, if you are in, if you're in the business of goofing off and just, it's okay to have fun. But if you're in the business of not putting in your full effort, my God, you're wasting your time. You just wasted your whole life. You have one life, right? You got one life. You are wasting your time. I need you guys to actually apply this stuff, okay? So, I will upload this and record this session. I told people I wasn't going to, but I am going to record and upload this session. I need you guys to take, I've said it multiple times, but to take away from this session here, what's going to happen is this. Number one, you need to understand that life in this advice that I gave you is all about action. You guys all understand that in chat? It's about action. It's not about knowing something. I always use the example, it's super funny. I know how to lose weight. It's calories in and calories out. I know how to count my calories. I know how to work out. I know how to run a marathon. So if a fat coach came up to me and said, "Yo, Trick, you got to lose weight. Stop eating." And I said, "Yeah, I know, dumbass." Does that make me smart? So many people, I tell them advice. They say, "Yeah, I know." Okay, fatty. Like, what? What does that mean? Right? It doesn't make any sense. It's not about knowing something. It's all about action. It's all about action. So I want you to take the information I gave you guys today and apply it and take action. My God, go into a custom game and figure it out. Go into a rank game and figure it out. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm going to leave you with, is my favorite way of reviewing this. Reviewing your intentions here. Reviewing what you're trying to do. It's the number one best way. I prefer short form VOD reviews, okay? In the form of clips. You're going to have a clipping software. You're going to clip every interaction that you thought was important, that felt wrong or felt right, whether it was good or bad, whether you felt like you played good with a pistol, bad with a pistol, good with an ult, bad with an ult, okay? You're going to clip every interaction that seemed significant, or maybe it just didn't feel right. You're going to watch that round back after the game and then go next. You're not going to overcomplicate it. You're not going to sit here and think, oh, I need to do my ult 32 degrees left next time. Watch it, take from it what you can, and click off the clip. It takes a couple minutes, and then go next game. And do that in between games. And I promise you that you guys are going to develop your game sense, and you're going to develop these skills faster than everybody else. It refreshes it in your brain. It allows you to think. It allows you to reflect. You don't have to go fishing in a long form VOD where you're just creating problems. Does everybody understand that? General Bappy says, "Can I send you my track and give me analyze?" Listen, I don't know. This is some like tier 2 soccer player or something like that. I don't know, but like if he gets, listen, if Bappy gets in the MLS, then we can give him a shot. All right, but if he's gonna play in that like tier 2 soccer league, then I don't know who Bappy is, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I know MLS is the primary league. It's the Premier League, you know. Guys, obviously I know Mbappe is. Okay. But all right, guys. Thank you guys for coming. I'm gonna end this session here. I hope you guys can utilize what you learned today and improve your gameplay well into Radiant. I am going to be doing free coaching Fridays. We're going to do player review Wednesdays. So this Wednesday upcoming, we're going to hop in and we're going to review a pro player like Oxy, for example, something like that. We're going to review them and just do a standard VOD review on them, and we can learn from it. We'll point out mistakes and we'll also learn from it. All right. And then also Minecraft Mondays. So yeah, if you guys want to play Minecraft, you got to go to the Minecraft channel, join the server. Okay, we're in there. I'll buy a bigger server if a lot of people end up wanting to show up. But I talk about people having breaks, and that's the way to do it. I'm not sure if I have time for Minecraft today. We'll see. But yeah. Other than that, guys, thank you guys all for coming. Just type in general chat if you want to keep chatting about this stuff. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys all later. Peace, peace, peace.